This episode of the Long Run Podcast is sponsored by Skechers.
Hello, everybody. 7:00 Friday night. It's the Long Run Podcast and live stream brought to you by Skechers. I'm Ian Wilkerson. This is the place for your news, views, and tips for everyday runners, and hopefully we'll have a few laughs along the way as well. Just three of us tonight. Unfortunately, Al's been waylaid, and we weren't quite in a position to draft a last-minute substitute, but we wish him well. Don't worry. If you're concerned about how he's going to do at the Brighton Marathon this week, it is nothing to be too concerned about.
Yeah.
I'm reliably informed.
Correct.
So he should be fit and well to pop down with loads of you heading down to the South Coast this week for another big marathon. Marathons and half marathons are back big style, aren't they, Christopher, after last week?
Thick and fast, bruv. Thick and fast. So actually, yeah, we want to hear from you a lot tonight. Firstly, we want to hear how was the Manchester Marathon, Reading Half Marathon, any event you done last week? I want to know because for us, and we'll come on to it, London Landmarks felt like an old-fashioned event, like it was, back without COVID in non-existing and all this sort of stuff. So how did that feel? What was Manchester like? What were the other events like? Second thing we want to hear from you tonight, are you doing Brighton or any of the other events? What other events are going on this week? But are you doing the Brighton Marathon? Have you already done your bag drop? Don't forget about the bag drop fiasco that we dealt with. And also,
tomorrow.
They've also had some other problems down there this week, apparently with the weather, bless them. So make sure you stick that in the comments. We want to hear from you as well. We've got a email special we are filming after this one for next week, Good Friday. Obviously, we want to sit at home and eat vegan chocolate. So make sure you continue sending in all the emails. Thank you very much to something. What is it, Wilco?
longrunShow@gmail.com.
Thank you very much. So we're going to get onto some of your emails with that. So the ones that you sent in probably about 8 months ago, we'll probably get round to. And I sent out some emails as well to our competition winners who got who've left the reviews and have got their hands on a Long Run t-shirt. So thanks to everybody who's been leaving reviews.
Is it the Long Run t-shirt that I'm currently modelling, Christopher?
Yeah, I think
available in all sorts of sizes.
Yeah, there's loads of merch, as you'd expect. But yeah, so thanks to everybody. Keep leaving those reviews because it keeps pushing us up the charts, and we really appreciate it. Big shout out to all our Sri Lankan and Mongolian fans. And Wilco, did you see that comment I posted in our WhatsApp group about the geezer about Malta earlier?
Yeah, apparently you're going to be a bit of a celeb and be star-spotted.
Yeah, when I'm bowling around in Malta.
I don't know.
Yeah, security.
Or something.
I'm going to need a security intel. Tobe's just got rid of it. So mad love. We'll come on to that later. But Skechers, mad love to Skechers for again supporting the podcast. So that's all the admin-y stuff out of the way, I suppose.
Yeah,
we knocked that out quite quickly, didn't we? Because now's not here. We've done well.
Too bad at all. Now, before we start, I've got a massive revelation.
Oh yeah, come on, let's have it.
Bought a new pair of trainers.
Oh, hang on. And he's actually not told me, right? Straight up to everybody, he's not told me what he's done. So, and actually, that's a good point because that leads me into another thing. So, come on, then let's have it. It better not be.
Can we have a game of Hangman here? Can we have like letters?
Yeah. I tell you what, is it Nike?
Pardon?
Is it Nike? Pair of Nike?
No, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
It's people used to, there's a very famous story about Bob Dylan when he stopped playing his acoustic guitar and went electric and everybody got the ump.
And
I'm feeling this is a bit, some people might see this as a bit of a betrayal after my trainer allegiance has been so projected on this.
What have you done?
So I went and bought a pair of these.
Oh, he's gone hokers. Oh, people listening to this on a podcast, he's gone Arahi 5.
6.
Sorry, 6. Can't see, but he's gone. Hurrah! He's 6. Wilco. Well, firstly, congratulations and welcome to 2022. He's been in 1987. He's like the Doc from Back to the Future. He's been stuck now. So welcome to the present day. How does it feel? Have you realised that like the world's changed? We've had a pandemic.
Yeah, it's been, well, I wouldn't say it's been a sort of like epiphany or anything like that, but I took them out. I did 8 miles in them yesterday, first spin.
Oh.
And yeah, I think once I've broke a bit, they're a lot lighter than the other ones.
Just a bit. Brooks are
Gotta
like
be said.
wearing 2 houses on your feet.
A couple of bricks.
But actually, Wilco, I've got a bit of now is sort of it's just like therapy, isn't it? I've got a bit of a confession to make as well. You ready for it?
Go on.
I've got they're actually downstairs. I've got a pair of Brooks arrive yesterday.
Have you?
Yeah. I'm trying.
So have you just led me down the garden path for these? Have I got to send these back?
No, I'm trying to be as objective as I can. So I thought, now Brooks obviously won't send me their shoes anymore, right? And rightly so, because of what I've said about them. And that's fair enough. So I coughed up my own money and I've got a pair of Brooks Glycerine 20s. And I'm not running them because, and we'll come on to that in a minute why I'm not running them. But I've got them and I'm excited to find out whether they're any different or they're exactly the same as the previous 19 versions because they look identical to all the last 19 versions. But yeah, so I've got them. So Wilco's gone, you know.
I just thought I'd try something because I saw your review and I thought I'd try something a little bit lighter.
Good shoe. Yeah, it's honestly, it's a good shoe.
Very reasonably priced as well, I've got to say.
Yeah, I've got also downstairs for all you shoe guys, I've got the Saucony Guide 15s as well, which is a stability shoe as well. So I've got them to try and start when I get back out running. I'll come on to that in a minute, but when I get them, so they're coming thick and fast. But yeah, so well, I'm proud of you, brother, for stepping out from 1987. Tobe, you've got shoe news as well, haven't you? This is quite exciting. Tobe?
It's turning into a bit of a shoe show, isn't it? But
yeah,
I've got
actually, it's not usually the show that people tend to associate with it, but yeah, go
on. I've actually had these about a week, but I haven't really been in the office, so I got them delivered to. And then as I was leaving, somebody said to me, "You've got new shoes," and my comment to that was, "Yeah, but I don't really need them."
Well, what shoes were they, Tobe?
But
he's got them in the tidy office.
Oh, he's got hookers as well.
Tobe, it's an audio-based format. He's showing a box of hookers.
Wilco's doing the commentary for me. Have you noticed?
Yeah. So he's opening his blue box
from Hoka.
And
he's got Speedgoat 5s.
Speedgoat 5s.
Got Speedgoat 5s. And I've got major FOMO. I'll be honest with you, Wilco, because I really want them. And I'm waiting. So, but anyway, that's
blue.
Blue shock, right? But that's led me to my question for the viewers. It's my birthday month, right? So Nike give you, is it 25% off?
I didn't get one. I'm very disappointed about this.
That's because they don't like you because you don't wear their shoes. But I've got 25% off. So let me know in the comments what shoes I should use them on. And you can't, annoyingly.
Has it got to be shoes, is it?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I said to you, didn't I? I said you want to get one of them pink T-shirts like Tiger wore at the Masters yesterday.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll have a look. I didn't know because I've straight away as soon as I got that notification today, I went straight on to get a pair of Next Percent 2s. I hope Mrs. Fall's not listening, but Next Percent 2s in the black and pink, and I went in to check out, and there was no discount taken off, but they're excluded from the discount. So Nike, thanks for nothing because they're giving me 25% off. I want to use it on them Next Percent 2s, and I can't. So what's the point? So anyway, let me know in the comments if you know of any Nike shoes, and I'm not getting the Street Fly because I can't stand them. If you've got any suggestions on what I can use my 25%.
I think you should give it to me, and I'll buy you a pair of shoes, and we'll see how fast you can do a part run in them.
I know someone who's done that to someone else. That was annoying,
but you might do a bit
after
better.
They were sick as well, Joe.
Yeah, after they were really ill and could hardly breathe. But apart from that.
Yeah. So anyway, so there we go. Just to let everyone else in joke, if you can't see it, but I've had man flu. So I did the Tuesday session with you, Wilco, and I had a headache that night. You know what it's like, and then you know it's coming. So I've been really ill all week. You know, really, really ill. Just a cold.
Really, really, really,
really ill. But in all seriousness, and I think this is a point that I want to make to everybody who's marathon training, half marathon training, whatever you're doing. I just took a couple of days off. I've lost nothing, right? It makes no difference whatsoever. I've taken a couple of days off. So what? I'm not going to miss anything out on my training. I've got 7 weeks to go. I couldn't care less. Makes no difference what I lose over a couple of days to what I'll gain. So I'm going to go out. We're going to do a nice, easy 16 miles tomorrow. I'm going to do it at super, super easy pace. I'm watching my heart rate. A good gauge for me in terms of where I'm at, in terms of coming back from illness, is I'm always looking at my resting heart rate. So in the morning is a tip. So I'm keeping an eye on that. It seems to have settled down a bit today. So
mind you, you've had a busy week, haven't you? Because you've had the kids clubs and all that sort of thing. And
yeah, we have had a busy week. Yeah, that was manic, and that was amazing on Monday and Tuesday with the kids, doing the kids camps, the running camps. So that was amazing. But yeah, so it's just a fact of life. I think whenever you're marathon training, you're always on that fine line of sort of peak performance, but dropping into being ill because you're hitting your immune system. You're really working everything in your body. You know, we did 50 miles the week before, then we tore it up a bit at Landmark. So it was inevitable. But just to get I want to give some advice out is don't worry if you get sick. I mean, it happens to all of us. There's a reason these plans are 16, 18 weeks, and just don't, fret. If it's a couple of weeks that you're sick, then obviously don't dive back in where you're meant to be. Take a couple of weeks to get yourself back up. But a couple of days off like I've had, I'll just go back in and just gently go back in. But it's not worth pushing it, because you can actually have a real negative effect. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor, funnily enough. I know I look like one, but there's some stuff that your body sort of creates, and there's some bad stuff that happens if you start training while you're ill and things like that, and it has a real negative effect. So
yeah, I suppose it's going to be a sort of like a bit of a domino effect, can't it?
Yeah, there's just no point. It prolongs the whole thing. Just chill out, relax, take a couple of days off, drink loads, and go from there. So that's my advice to you. So I'm just going to, slowly come back in it.
Before we look forward to this weekend, I just wanted to say Rod Lambert, beg pardon, Rod, said that the organisation and support of Manchester was fantastic. He was delighted with 3:44 and a 12-minute PB. Well done, Rod. That's brilliant. And my first international marathon. He's got a little Republic of Ireland flag there.
Yeah.
Endorphin Pro 2 all the way.
Yeah,
well, I wouldn't have thought you had time to change your shoes if you did 3:44.
Yeah, that's incredible. And a bit out to JBS, who was in early doors. Big shout out to him. He done a cracking job up there as well. Bang on what he needed to get done. But it was nice.
Charlie as well from Tuesday. She
did again, she had like similar sort of thing, and she still battled through. And you know what? In the Facebook group, I don't know about you, but Medal Monday was crazy this week with all the posts. It was insane, but it was it was great. But I think it's one of the busiest things, busiest Medal Mondays. And it goes back to what I was saying at the front end. It really did feel like we were back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was the meet up, and I know a load of the guys, they were all went to the pub. You was there, Wilco. Went to the pub after.
Oh, well, if it's a pub, mate, of course I was there.
Yeah, it was a pub. He was there. So it was just like, there was no restrictions in terms of, what you can and couldn't do, wearing masks and all that. It was back to what it effectively was before, which was great, really. But yeah, it was you kind of forget, don't you? After all the 2 years we've had, you do kind of forget that how it was and how we used to be in, like, we was planning last week, or was it this week? I don't remember. But we was talking about the Great North Run meetup that we're going to do Saturday night up in Newcastle. We was talking about the Pink Picnic down in Southend half marathon we're going to organise, and getting back to those sort of traditional FORDY runs, things that we always used to do, where people who have been part of the group, part of the community, part of the club, but only joined during COVID, they never would have experienced any of these things. They never would have realised that these sort of things were going on, beforehand. So hopefully we can get back to that. And it seems like
because we did have a bit of a reset, didn't we? With people, lots of people got into running, particularly when the gyms were shut and things like that, and they couldn't get out and sort of like have their fitness in the using the same methods that they would have done beforehand, and sort of like took running because they were allowed outside. They could get out for an hour, and some people have just Loved it. Anyway, we've just now we've talked about the kids earlier. Great question from the Fat Runner I'll bring up before we talk about landmarks. Any tips on encouraging training kids to run? My son is 8 and now does junior park run each week. Not sure how much more running he can safely do each week and at what pace.
Yeah, good question. Well, first, it's great. I think junior park run is incredible. Big shout out to Amanda from Hartford, who's race director down at Hartford junior park run. We the children we coach or teach are from like 4 up until I don't know, they're about 13, 14. We do all different ages. And it depends on each child, to be honest with you. They all develop. This is the thing that what we get taught when we go through our athletics badges is that they're all developing, as you know, at different levels. So you've got some kids like Flynn, we mentioned him last week, OCR champion and all this sort of stuff. He's competing in a league, an age group above his actual age group because of the way he's developing. So it's all dependent on each child. The thing that we make sure that we do at 40 Runs Juniors is we make sure it's fun and it's not so much focused on competition and not running fast and drills and all that sort of stuff. We make it fun, active, and we involve a lot of agility. So it's an overall workout. It's not just all running, because in athletics, kids athletics, you look at them in running, jumping, and throwing in all different aspects because you're trying to develop them across the board. We're not looking at them solely in running. So we try and bring in all those aspects, and that's where you've got to be careful that when some of these, I don't want to speak badly, but someone like marathon kids and people like that, I don't know whether they're actually qualified coaches where they do that sort of stuff. Going through the England athletics route, like I did my badges, so I'm able to coach kids under 12. We get an understanding of what they should and shouldn't be doing and how you can push them and how not to push them. The important part is to make it fun. And so to answer your question, how much safely can they do it? It all depends on your child. We have some children who come along who are 5 years old and they can literally just run and run and run. They really enjoy it. But then you start to get them to do the agility stuff and they can't compute that, or they might not be able to take part as well in some of the throwing activities because they can't understand it. But so it's how your child is, and hopefully where you go with that, it depends on them and developing the different aspects as they sort of come of age in each area. That's the key, and just the key is to make it fun. So if they want to do more running, let them do more running. If they want to do more jumping, let them do more jumping. That's how we try and do it on a junior level with the kids. It's really, really important just to make it fun, but let them develop at their own speed, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does.
I hope that answers your question of the fat runner. I feel a bit funny to say a fat runner, but
that is his name. I just saw a question. Is it too late to pay for affiliation? No, any of our club members listening tonight, if you're not a club member and you're a solo runner, or I don't know, maybe you've never thought about being affiliated, but now you can get all the discounts on races and stuff because obviously the races are back. So, but you don't have to belong to a traditional club, so you don't have to turn up every week and do social runs and club runs and all this sort of stuff that can come with traditional clubs. There's nothing wrong with them, but we offer affiliation to UK Athletics for £17. That money all goes to England Athletics, apart from £1 of that, which the club still pays back to England Athletics. And I'm not allowed to talk about anything like that because I'll get upset with England Athletics. But that money all goes, so it's non-profit is my point. So if you want to be affiliated, you can join. Now's a good time to join. It's the start of the year for how England Athletics, they run it April to April. So now's a good time to do that. And if you were a previous member, now you need to get in touch and renew your membership. Or if you was a basic member, because the club, we offer free membership as well, because it's important. I want people to feel like they belong, and they don't, if they can't afford it and they don't want those things, they can still become a basic member. But maybe you were a basic member before because there was no races or events going and you didn't want no point taking advantage. Now you can upgrade from a basic to an affiliated. Just again, contact the club, fordyruns@hotmail.com. Now I know that email address, Wilco, because
I was just going to say, remember that one?
I've been sending it out about 3,000 times today and this week to people, bless them. And thanks to everybody who does email me. But I don't actually have anything to do with the club apart from being on. I'm on the committee as the head coach. I'm the most qualified out of us. But the day-to-day running membership, all that. I had to pay my subs. I had to, do my own thing. So I'm the same as everybody else. I deliberately don't get involved because otherwise I'll start cocking it up. So,
so that's the email address for that. And if you
Yeah.
want to contact us, we've got a different one, and we're longrunshow@gmail.com. So if you want to drop us a line, even if you just want to tell us how wonderful we are, then we're quite happy to accept those sort of comments. But yeah, if you've got any questions, any observations, anything you want to get in touch with us, that's the email address. So drop us a line. We've done 20 minutes. I think we ought to talk about. We ought to delve a little bit deeper.
Have I mentioned I've got man flu? Have I mentioned that?
Yes.
Oh,
I think we've crossed that, but I think we've covered that.
Oh, I just want to make sure everyone knows.
Yeah. You don't sound very ill, I've got to say.
What?
You don't sound very ill.
Ask Mrs. Fold. Terrible.
I'm sure she's very sympathetic to your current predicament.
Yeah. You can tell he's ill from what he had for lunch.
Oh. Yeah.
Was it a pepperoni pizza?
No, I had a very, very healthy sort of flu combating treat.
Was it spicy?
It was spicy. I'm deliberately going spicy, but I had a Subway. Okay, people. So just let it put out. So and it was deliberately spicy because I'm trying to get my sinuses. So on my pasta tonight, I had just had some pasta ready for tomorrow. I put a load of I put too much on again. Cayenne pepper on there. It blew my head off. But I'm trying to have cayenne because I don't want to get a sinus infection. So I'm trying to.
I'm a bit worried about tomorrow now with all this spice.
What's the matter?
I'm worried about tomorrow with all this spice going on.
Yeah, you could be in for trouble tomorrow, Tab. I'll put that out there. But don't worry about it. It'll be all right.
I'll try it. Size there.
Yeah, size there. He'll be able to cope. He'll be able to mop it up.
Yeah, and so, but the two of you went out and you'd be pretty pleased with the way that you performed, wouldn't you, on Sunday? You looked in good shape when I saw you.
Well, right. So, the idea was that we was going to go to landmarks and see where we were at. Okay, and then in the car, because we had to drive up because we had to be there early, for obviously other reasons, and we basically argued from 6. We got picked up 6, so we argued for an hour about what we wasn't going to run.
While you're in the back seat.
And they made me sit in the back deliberately.
No. We.
No, they made me sit in the back seat, which I thought was out of order. So they made me sit in the back seat, and to be fair, Tobe, I didn't moan that much.
You didn't, and I took the dog blanket out, so I think that was quite nice.
So that was nice.
What more of a sacrifice could he possibly make?
We just about had enough charge to get to London, but anyway, we argued for the whole way. All of us argued about it, and that includes the SI and admin. And then we got there, and then we went up, and I basically just followed Toby because I'm an idiot. But we got to about 3 miles, and then we realised that we had no GPS in terms of pacing. Our GPS at landmarks was all over the place, right? We like 1 minute we're running 10:30 per mile, next minute we're running 7:20. So we really had no genuine idea where we were in terms of pacing. So we effectively ran to field, didn't we, Tobe? That's probably what we did for.
Yeah, it's the only thing you really could do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you didn't run to field, you didn't know where you were at all.
It was strange, wasn't it? Because there were lots of people saying, "Oh, it's too short. 500 yards too short," and then other people going, "Cool, I've done nearly 14 miles."
Yeah,
I think it's just one of those things when you're in the middle of London. You've got all those tall buildings, particularly around the city.
Yeah. Throgmorton Street, Bank of England is murder. It always is. And all around that area, it's terrible. And then you put a load of runners through there, it's even worse.
Even on the start line, it took me 2 minutes to get GPS.
It's just one of those things. You're going to get it. So we kind of knew that the GPS would be a problem because we had it before, and we kind of we didn't know it was going to be that bad. It was like mile 5, wasn't it, Toby? You said, hang on a minute, I'm half a mile short here. So we knew basically from that point we was up the garden path. So we then just ran to Phil effectively the whole way. And we ended up popping out with I came in with 1:38 and change. Toby went 1:37 and change. And it was nice to be able to run to Phil because we both finished and weren't like dead.
Yeah.
Because I think if we were running to a pace, we would have probably tried to, either knowing that where we were targeting towards, we probably would have kicked on a bit. So it was nice to finish and not feel knackered. But also it's nice to put those times down and have that confidence knowing that the training's working. And running to feel is a good thing, people. So I know we all rely on our devices, and I talk about it a lot with my clients about, you know, running to certain paces, certain efforts and heart rates and all this sort of stuff with all the data that we're now available to us. But I do think it is important sometimes just to go out there and run to feel. And it was a really good exercise for us to run, you know, to feel and feel confident when we finished, and for us put down some good times. So we was very happy, but we were both short on. I know Tobe's got a dodgy watch anyway, and we all know with his 5K when he ran 13 and a half laps instead of, you know, 12 and a half like me and Si did. But he generally was out. I was out. I think, was Si long or was he short, Tobe? I got no idea. But everyone was coming in with different stuff. It was really weird, wasn't it, Wilco? It was a funny old thing, but most importantly, it was a good event. But interesting enough for you, what was it like being a volunteer for the day?
Well, it was great. I mean, because often I work weekends, I don't do much volunteering because I've only got sort of like perhaps 10, 12 windows a year for events and things at weekends. So I don't tend to do it much. But I've done the landmarks twice, and I had such a good time the day that when I didn't get a place in the ballot, I thought, well, I'll just go and volunteer. And thanks to Paula Frost for accommodating me within the group. We were on finishing bags at the end. I did a lot of shouting early on about how people needed smalls and larges and all sorts of stuff. Lost my voice pretty early on. But it's just great seeing everybody come in and people.
Yeah, what's it like? I mean, you obviously
hard work.
The
hard work. It's not a tin mine.
No, but
you're busy.
Yeah, you're on your feet, aren't you?
Yeah, you're on your feet all the time. And like, I was at the sort of like the end of the queue of the people that are the largest, so I wasn't handing out many bags. So then I thought, well, I'll just organise all the stuff because we have massive, big cardboard boxes full of stuff like on pallets, and just take them out and just filling them up so everybody else could.
What do you get? Do you get like a goodie bag or anything?
We had t-shirts. We got a medal. Got a medal with a volunteer on the ribbon. They gave us a lunch.
So what was that? What was it? The lunch?
Greg's.
Oh, vegan sausage
roll. It wasn't a steak bake or anything like that.
Oh. And what about if you needed a wee?
You just went.
What?
Because the thing was, because the toilets, we were at the Cenotaph, if people know, because the race finishes in Whitehall. We were literally, you know, we could wave to Boris Johnson in his window. Yeah, we were right outside, right by the Cenotaph, right outside Downing Street, and there were toilets at the end. And you could just use that. And what's great is that, of course, everybody wants to use the toilet before they race. Nobody wants to use it when they finish. So there was no queues or nothing.
Oh, that's all right, isn't it? So once again, you would, in terms of the volunteering, because we've got some other big races coming up, you would anyway, but you'd 100%.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a really good way to be involved if you don't think that, I mean, in my case, you know, I didn't have a place and I wanted to go and have a good day. And I wanted to sort of like see my mates and go to the pub afterwards and just be part of it all. It's great like that. But also, if you're not confident about, you know, whether you could do a particular distance or something like that, you can still be involved and still, you know, play a role, and everybody's equal.
Yeah, so, no, mate, you're right. And it's worth pointing out, I think, on the, hopefully everybody who is listening to this as a podcast, but it is a part of the 40 Runs Facebook group. But if you're not, join it, because that's where these posts go up. We've got an amazing team who put these together. And
we had a big shout for, Paula was organising, and
you got Mel, you got Kate.
Mel does a lot of organising down at Bushy Park Run,
and you got Kate as well.
So it was good for a novice like me to have a friendly face who knew what they were doing and could tell me what to do. Really,
but it's just look out for their posts on the stuff, because we've got some. So here's a question then, Wilco. What's your sort of next event that you've got coming up?
What, my next run?
Race, yeah.
Edinburgh.
Oh, it's Edinburgh. You haven't got nothing between then?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay, because we've got, the reason I asked is because we've got the Vitality 10K.
And I'm not around. I'm away, so I won't be at that.
Where are you going?
I'm off to Portugal.
Oh, outside? Hang on a minute. It's a bit strong, isn't it?
I didn't get him.
No, well, what happened was, in the middle of COVID, I booked loads of stuff, and then I got a text message from one of my mates about 6 months ago. Said, "Oh, flights have changed," and I'm like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, we're going to Portugal to play golf." I'd completely forgotten about it. So, yeah, it's that weekend, so I won't be there.
Oh, that's all right, mate. I said, where are you going? What cool? I mean, it's not a golf podcast, but where
Villa Mora on the
Oh.
Algarve.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I
But anyway,
think
I
you're
was
pissing,
saying
mate.
I'm doing the Vitality 10K because I think they've got a volley squad for that. So
They have, definitely.
if you want to get involved in that, that's why where I was going with it. I wasn't just asking Wilco about his holiday. But yeah, so get involved in that. We're going to be, hopefully there's going to be a meet up and a thing afterwards and we can get involved with. And Toby and I,
jacket if you volunteer.
what?
New Balance jacket if you volunteer at the 10K.
There we go. And usually they were pink in the past. And then I've got, and I don't know whether we're doing a Hackney. I don't know if we're getting involved, but I'm doing the Hackney half the week before.
Edinburgh.
What's it called? Edinburgh. I'm doing Hackney half because I always like to do a half marathon the week before a marathon.
Oh, right. What's the thinking behind that then, mate?
Firstly, race prep. I mean, I would have done a few races, but it just gets me in race mode in my brain in terms of using the facilities, getting up early, packing a bag, going through the whole rigmarole of a race. So I'm accustomed to that. Again, I've mentioned it millions of times how, as a person, how I am in terms of anxious. I don't like crowds. I don't particularly like being in places where I don't feel comfortable and things like that. So and that's why I started a Facebook group. So I knew people and I get comfortable being around people. But so to put me into that environment before a big event is always helpful for me, selfishly as a human being. So I enjoy doing that. I don't enjoy it, but I enjoy the race. I just don't enjoy the sort of,
And
then
obviously, a week before a marathon, you are not going there and smashing it.
Well, no, and then I basically run the first 3 to 6 miles, depending on how my training's gone. Usually, the first 6 miles at goal pace. So I do a dry run because there's going to be no impact aerobically or physically on me doing that. So I'll do between 3 to 6 miles at goal pace, looking to make sure I'm whatever strategy I'm choosing for Edinburgh or whatever marathon I'm doing, I will look to replicate that the week before. And then I just back out of it and start mucking about and getting on everybody's nerves. Which is fun, Toby. But yeah, so that's always my thought process in terms of a marathon. I always, have sort of done that, and it seems to have worked for me really. So that's why I like it. And Hackney's a relatively straightforward one for us to get to. Westfield walk over down Hackney is usually a good turnout in terms of 40 runners. So and they make a bit of noise. So
before we moved on, I just wanted to ask this question from Belisarius, which is, I wanted to ask whether you think it's worth a slower runner buying super shoes. I run 8.5 minute miles and want to get some, but I'm not sure if there are any benefit to it at my pace. Love the show.
Yeah, there is. There's been some studies shown that super shoes do benefit all runners. You've got to watch, obviously, pronation and things like that. You've got to be careful of that and mindful of that. We spoke about, and I did a video about the Saucony Endorphin Pro 2 and Pro 1. What a good choice that is if you do have, mild pronation issues like myself and Toby. That's a good shoe to have a look at. I've just seen the Brooks Hyperion Elite 3s come out. That's a relatively stable shoe, although it may bore you to death while you're wearing them. But that's another option in terms of stable carbon plated shoe. But yeah, there is a benefit to wearing them. But again, it comes down to your budget, what you can afford. But I would just make sure you're not risking injury. It does upset me when I see runners when I'm running along and they're breaking their ankles because they're in a pair of Zoom X Next Percents because they think it's going to give them some time, but actually they're doing more harm than good. So yeah, 100%. And talking about shoes, because I don't want to do a shoe special this week, but Ian was asking about Skechers. Skechers sponsoring the show. Does that mean there will finally be some Max Road 5s for sale? We spoke about this last week, and big shout out to Skechers. Because I did that 350-mile review with Simon on his Max Road 5s. The Max Road 5 is going to be replaced, and most of Skechers shoes, from what I understand, are coming Q3, Q4 to the UK. they still have, like most shoe manufacturers out there, distribution issues around the world, which is why you see some Nike shoes being released here and not in the US. For example, the Infinity React 3, which I reviewed last week, is not out in the US yet. Street Fly got here first. Some of the ASIC shoes are out in Australia, like the Glide Ride 3, but they're not here. So it's just the way it is. Skechers, and a big shout out to them for sponsoring the show. They've just released their Razor XS 2. Just talk about that quickly, actually, because there's a lot of stuff on YouTube about that this week. That's why it's worth mentioning. That shoe is meant to be coming at some point, but it's not here yet. That's a daily trainer, which is a fantastic shoe. I did a review on the first version. It's so lightweight. And they put the H plate in it, which is in the Max Row 5. So you've got that stability, but you've got that little pop. It is a really good daily trainer. Once it comes out here, I would recommend it. I think it's on you can, if you're a size 6 and you're a lady, you can get them now on the Skechers website. They're £135, but that's definitely worth checking out. So to answer your question, Max Row 5s, Simon got his from Running Warehouse in the US, so you still can get them. It is a shoe I recommend. And if you're elsewhere in the world listening to this podcast, maybe you're in Mongolia and you're looking for a pair of shoes to wear while you're riding your horse, I would recommend the Skechers Razor XS 2, which is out at the moment. I've just come out. But yeah, so nice bit of Skechers plug in there, boys. We've had loads of questions. I've seen something about Garmin's. I've seen stuff about like man flu. Yeah, I've got man flu. No, it's not COVID.
Do you want me to answer questions about watches? Apparently, I'm quite good at these.
Yeah, Tobe's.
You're your watch correspondent.
He is the watch correspondent.
Okay, yes, from Robert Hallam. He's looking to upgrade from his Garmin 235, which I've got here. Any suggestions, please? One of the Fenix series questions.
Oh, Tobe, wait there. Wait there. Tobe, cause
sure, I'm not going anywhere, but I'm not sure the people on the podcast will be too interested in waiting for you to.
We've got a video coming out.
You have.
And when is it, Tobe? I'm trying to find it. Actually, you won't know.
I don't know that information. But there is a video coming out.
13th of April.
Next week.
Right, so whoever answered the question, 13th of April, make sure, Robert, you're subscribed and got the old bell notification on the YouTube channel, because there's a video for you coming on the 13th of April. Garmin gave us 3 watches. And I gave them out to Toby. I gave them out to Sabrina. I said, there you go. Go and play with them and let us know. Live with them. Will let us know which is the best one. It was the 245, the 55, and the 735. I'm not going to don't tell him, Toby, because he won't watch the video. And we need him to watch the video.
Yeah.
But watch the video.
No
It comes out on Wednesday. It's a good video. There's loads of information. Watch that. There you go. That was a good plug, wasn't it, that?
Yeah, so there we go, Robert. Hopefully, that video will have the answer. And also, just a quick line from Michael Sandyford, who I saw on Facebook. He smashed the Taunton Marathon last week. He says, thanks for the advice for Taunton Marathon last week. The second lap I knew was coming and was able to push more in the last 10K, because we were talking about laps, weren't we?
Legend, yeah.
Stuff like that. And he had a top time. I can't remember. He was 3.5. Might have been sub 3.5. Really good.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, well done, Michael. Good shout. And thanks for coming back letting us know. Now, where was there? Was another question. Who's Facebook user I'm doing Hackney Half? I can't see who that is. Has anyone in your guys done Run Gatwick? Yeah, Laura, watch the Run Gatwick videos. Check that out. We've done that a few times. There's a really good bit in that video where I'm standing underneath a 747. It nearly took my head off. So I watched that. I went plane spotting for 2 hours.
No spoilers again, folks.
No
but
spoilers.
I want to know,
it didn't actually take his head off.
That's a good video.
But was Chris louder than the plane?
Ask Billy. Bill was there. Basically, me and Bill just went plane spotting. Then we realised that we were like massively behind where we did. So we then just ran our hearts out and got a sub 2, which was well impressive. Here we go. I wanted to. No, there was a warm-up question.
Yeah, it's here. The one about how much time should you spend on a warm-up before a race? I'm doing a 5K at Battersea Park. Lovely, nice and flat tomorrow.
If it's a race, I would warm up especially with a 5K. You want to be really switched on. You want to do a nice, gentle warm-up to start with, and then really, really ratchet it up. Plenty of strides, really switch everything on for a 5K. So you're absolutely peaked and ready to go.
And also, you know, there are parks in London like Greenwich and that have got big hills and things. Battersea is not one of them. You have got a great chance of smashing a really good time.
Yeah, just what I would say is just give yourself just before the race starts. Do the warm up and let your heart rate come down a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit, so you're settled and your breathing's back and you're ready to go. But if you're doing a 5K, you want to be switched on, ready, because the thing is with a 5K, you want to hit it hard out of the park. As soon as that whistle goes or whatever the starter's got, you want to be nailing it from the get go. It's not like a half or a 10K necessarily. 10K different, but you can like build into your race a little bit. With a 5K, if you're going for it, you've got to be going from the blocks. So, yeah, 100% warm up. We should all really do warm ups, to be honest. I even make you laugh, but I even did a little warm up before landmarks. I'm getting a bit older now, funny enough. I know I don't look it, but I'm getting a little bit older. And I had done a little warm up up and down at the start at landmarks just to get myself ready and pumped up a bit. Get rid of some of the adrenaline as well. So I was a little bit less, pumped up than I was. And a warm up does help. A few strides, a few skips, a few A skips and things like that, just to get everything ready and ready to go. So yeah, 100% recommend. Don't forget also to do your cool down and your stretching. If you're going hard at it, you should always do that as well. And we've done. Look at the video. We've done the track day videos. There's a cool down, there's a warm up and a cool down in that, and you can skip through it in the chapters. Have a look at that, because that will help you in terms of a rough warm up and a rough cool down. There's like 5 or 6 stretches in there you should be doing, which will hopefully help.
Now, mate, we've done 42 minutes. We've not touched upon what's actually going to happen this weekend yet. Unfortunately, Al's not here because we were going to pat his brains about his great preparation for the Brighton Marathon. Which no doubt he'll smash because he was in top form at the landmarks, trying to help Fletch get round.
Yeah, big shout out, Fletch.
No, trying to get help. Fletch makes it sound as if he didn't make it. Of course he did. He just didn't quite get to his 2-hour target, but he had a PB by about 10 minutes. So
he ran strong.
Great achievement.
Yeah,
ran strong. It was great to see him. Obviously, he was on great form, and it was great to see him. And that. So it's 2 big events. I think 2 big 40 events this week. We've got the Brighton Marathon and 10K. Good luck to Paul Myvan.
Yeah, big luck to Paul.
10K. He even came along on Tuesday and had a lovely time.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see more of him at Hartford on a Tuesday. And also, it's obviously the marathon down at Brighton as well. And loads of Fordies heading to Kew Gardens for the Kew Half as well.
Yeah, actually, give a shout out to Sue. What's it called? Give a shout out to Sue. She's done a meetup for Brighton. So check that out. It's in the Facebook group if you're looking, because it's that park in it, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So check that post.
Abby Cotterill, she posted it as well. So yes. Oh, it looks very good with a map and everything. It looks really.
No, hang on. No, don't get confused, Wilco. You've got the Brighton one from Sue.
Yeah.
And then you've got the other
Abby's got the one at Kew
from Abby. So you're going to confuse the listener. Well, if you're listening to this on the pod, you probably don't care.
Well, you've probably got bigger issues if you turn up at Kew Gardens expecting to do the Brighton Marathon, though, haven't you?
Yeah, but you could be listening to this on the train up to Brighton to do your bag drop tomorrow because there's no bag drop on race day. You could be doing that. So maybe they're listening to the pod. So we may have added some value. I don't know. Mel's volleying at Kew both days on T-shirts. So there you go. Go and see Mel. Get
there you
T-shirt.
go. I mean, a brilliant experience doing the T-shirts. She loved it so much. She's going back for more this weekend.
She's going back for more. So that was it. Now we've got. Now we had an email in this. Well, we've had lots of emails in. To be fair, that's why we're doing the email special. But we had an email in that we actually need to talk about today because it's about next week. So usually we read them out after they've happened. So, but actually we noticed it. So we're going to try.
We thought we'd buck the trend and actually do one on time.
Yeah, get ahead of this one. But if you are doing Brighton, let us know in the comments and that sort of stuff, and make sure.
How you feeling? Yeah, how you feeling about it? What are you worried about the wind this week? It got windy down there for the half marathon a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's been blowing pretty tasty down here. So,
yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I don't know about. I've never really fancied doing the Brighton Marathon. If I'm honest, it's not. It's on the list, right? to do because just to say I've done it, but I've got no motivation to go down. It sounds horrible, and I might be wrong. And I've been down there, right? And I remember when Sue, chucked oranges all over the place, and Fletch spilt my coffee. But I've never really had any motivation to run it. It's always windy or it's always hilly, and I don't know. There's a power station you've got to navigate, and it's just. And walking back up to the train station, it's up a hill. I mean, who wants to do that?
Yeah. So good luck if you're doing the Bright Marathon this week, folks.
Yes,
You'll have a lovely time.
Although,
yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Am I completely mad and wrong on
Tell him
Brighton?
he's talking rubbish.
What is
Tell him
it?
it's
No,
the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Have
It
I
wasn't
mentioned
ultra last year. So
have I mentioned, Wilco, sorry. Have I mentioned I've got a cold?
yeah. Oh, you also mentioned you got an email before I cut you off.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we got an email. What was it again?
It was about it was from Luke, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I
got flu and I can't.
Yeah,
lucky
from
out,
Luke Blackham. Oh, shall I do it?
Yeah, we Andy, to be honest.
Evening, gents. I've just started listening and love the show. Good start, Luke.
Good lad.
I'm doing my first half marathon next weekend. Beyond Jurassic Trail. Sounds great. What training should I be looking to do next? And what would you recommend to eat on the morning of the race? It's a 10 o'clock start and about a half an hour, I assume. Half an hour drive away. Cheers, Luke Blackham.
Right. So what was the question? I lost interest.
I've got to look it back up now. Hold on.
What? No, I'll tell you what I lost
training
interest.
Should he look to do next after doing his first half? And what should he eat on the morning of the race?
So right. So it's not been overlooked. I was reading David's comment. Nearly missed you guys. Went off. This was David last week who had his Manchester.
Oh yeah,
his strategy. That's why I lost interest because I was trying to read what he wrote. So sorry, Luke. We'll come back to you in a sec. And he done it. He done it. Basically, bottom line, he done it. So we helped him. So that run, that sub 4 run, was sponsored by the Long Run podcast. So well done, David.
Yeah, I'm taking a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, I'm taking all the credit. Toby, you did nothing.
Yeah, so Luke wants to know what he's going to eat on the morning and what should he do next after he's done his first half.
Right, so eating in the morning, you should eat what you always have. So don't change nothing. So whatever you've had through your training, do exactly the same. Never change anything. Always do what you've done through your training because unless you haven't eaten anything and you've run starved, then I can't help you. But and I'm going to give a plug, right? Massive plug. Old tight Wilco. This is more of a plug than the sketches earlier. You can now get on the website we just put out. It's for marathon training. It's a running essentials pack, and within that pack there's a training plan. There's a 6 or 8 week training plan, build up training plan before you get into your main part of your marathon training. There is a 16-week training plan in there for your marathon, but there's stuff on nutrition, so breakfast ideas. There's lunch ideas, dinner ideas about nutrition. There's advice on fueling. There's advice on hydration. There's training tips in there. It's all available. You can get it on the website, fordyruns.com/training-plans. But at the moment, it's only the marathon ones. We've got a beginner, something intermediate, and a PB one.
How much is that retailing for, mate?
That's 30 quid. So, and you're getting a lot in there because straight away you're getting 2 training plans straight off the bat. But so that's the reason I plugged it is because it does give some good examples of breakfasts in there. But
maybe if you excuse the pun, maybe we'll digest some of those little items in future things. Just give you a little taste.
Yeah, we can go through it. But yeah,
we'll touch upon some of that sort of stuff.
Always just stick to what you know. Don't be changing anything. And the other thing about what to do after, it's always the same thing. Sign up for another event. So whatever it, whether you want to go and sign up for an ultra or a triathlon or a 5K Battersea, run as fast as you can, jobby. But the first thing I always do is sign up for something else because then it's like we had some people do London landmarks, and it's like you've got to remember that's the start of your journey. That was their first half marathon. That's the start of their journey. Don't give up now. You've done 12 weeks of hard training. Why give it all up now? Sign up for something else. Find a new challenge. Come to Southend. I know it's probably about 6 million miles away from you, but come to Southend. There's a fast half marathon down there that we're going to be doing the warm up. When I say we, Nettie's going to do it, and I'm just going to cock about on a microphone. But it's worth coming just for that. So, or come to Great North Run and hang out. Don't even go do the race. Just come to the pub on Saturday night.
Yeah. We're back in the pub, back in the slug, are we?
So there's all, there's always something to sign up for. I know, money and all that sort of stuff, and I appreciate that. But maybe
I do think once you've done one, you will sort of like get into the habit of looking sort of 3 or 4 months ahead, and then you'll always have one in the bag. You'll always have your next race that you know what you're doing anyway.
Yeah.
And then come January, you'll sort of like, oh yeah, well, we won't be able to go and see your sister in October on, for or bonfire night because I've got this run, I've got this 10 miler I've got to do and stuff like that, and you'll have it all sorted.
It was who was it the other day? Someone asked me something about a date. I don't work on dates. I work on how many weeks to a race. So I could, how many weeks? It's Tobe, isn't it? It's like how many weeks is that from Edinburgh? Maybe not.
We're 7 now, aren't we?
Yeah, but it's no point asking you, Wilco. You get it wrong.
No, I'm sorted now. I'm back in the game.
Oh, but yeah. So I revolve everything about. I don't worry about dates. It's like I work Edinburgh, whatever my marathon is or whatever I'm running, and then I work back from that. Oh, it's 2 weeks from Edinburgh. Oh, okay, I can do that. Oh, it's 3 weeks after Edinburgh. So it's always that focal point. That's how I roll now. It's just like it's always built around. And when's David's asking when is Southend Half? Someone else, I think it's the 12th of June, but I may be wrong. Probably likely. I think it's the 12th of June, but it's at just the front end of June. And yeah, so have a look at that one. It's a flat, fast half marathon. Benefits a great charity down in Southend, Havens Hospice, who do some incredible work. They also look after the Chelmsford Marathon as well.
It's a good job Mel's here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great, 12th of June. It's a great charity that you're supporting by taking part in the event, but it's also a great, fantastic run.
It's only 30 quid.
What?
30 quid.
30 quid.
Or 28 if you're affiliated.
Yeah, so if you've got the affiliation,
run as well, that's really good.
Yeah, if you've got the affiliation, like Tobe just plugged, good boy. Yeah, so get involved, people. I can't believe it's 52 minutes.
I know.
Where's that gone?
If you actually analyse the quality of the content as opposed to the quantity of it, we ain't said much, really, have we?
No, it's as usual, really. I don't think anybody notices, to be honest.
See, as soon as Al's not here, it will come on.
What's that, Tobe?
It's small, precise bits of information. That's what we want.
How's that then?
Well, it's just how it goes, isn't it?
It's just so much. People are sort of like saying, Southend's on the 12th. It's the same day as the St Albans half. 19th is the half 24. It's just so much stuff going on now, isn't there? We're coming up to right into the thick of it all.
But it's exciting. That's what I was saying earlier, at the front end about, I just think it's nice, races and events being back and what all that stuff that comes with that, the Medal Mondays and the what was it Mel said earlier? I'm going to get shot by, but I think it's T-shirt Tuesday or something she said, and all these kind of cool things, that come about to go back. But like as I said, the build up to these races, the stuff afterwards, and the volunteering and the FOMO of signing up for stuff because you see someone else. That's always the best one, isn't it? Is when you see someone else sign up for something and you go, oh, you know what? I'll have some of that. And then you end up during a race or event purely because you don't want to miss out. That's great that we're getting back to that point where we can take.
I will say as well, like you've said about missing out on that. I didn't feel like going to the landmarks. I didn't feel that I missed out because I didn't run. Although it was a bit unusual sort of going because it felt like, you used to have that sort of thing like Sunday football and things like that. Oh yeah, well you're not going to play, but you better bring your boots just in case. It was almost as if I sort of like felt like, oh, perhaps I ought to pack my trainers in case someone turns up with a hamstring and say, oh yeah,
pull you in last minute off the bench.
You're going to have to do it. So
yeah, Wilco, we desperately need someone to take part. Can you do it for us?
You got your trainers, mate. You got your hockers. You can do it.
Oh, it's got his hockers. I was going to say Brooks, but he's converted. We've converted him. So it's only taken a year of absolutely berating him about his Brooks that he's switched. He switched over.
I'm such a gullible. You
are.
I might not get on with him. You don't know. I might not like him.
You've totally come under peer pressure, haven't you?
They might ruin me.
Nah, they won't. They're a good shoe. We did that. What was that? 20 mile the other week. I was wearing them. I can't remember. We filmed a video. I was wearing it for 20 miles the other day. They're blinded, absolutely blinded.
I think you moan less than normal as well. So
that's unusual. You think when I've got man flu, how much did I mention I got man flu?
Once, maybe twice.
Maybe twice. Oh, any tips on a good interval session? Yeah, there's loads. I mean, Fletcher was banging on the other day about doing them on a treadmill, which is something different. But I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I like to find a nice, straight sort of runway, and not necessarily go time based, but just hit 6 of them hard, recover, and then go again. That's me. I do a nice 10-minute warm up, nice easy, plod down there, and then I don't like to overcomplicate things. I see a lot of stuff, and don't get me wrong, because I put them into training plans that I do with people, and we do the 1 minute on, 1 minute off, and all this sort of stuff, which is great because they're really they're good stuff. But my brain, the way it works, I like to keep it simple. So if I've got a 400, 500 meter stretch that I can absolutely cane it, I will, and I'll run as hard as I can there. 30 seconds, turn around and run as hard as I can back. And I'll do that 6 times, recover, go again. And then that's me done, so that adds up to about 20 odd minutes. And then I'll do a nice gentle 10 minutes, jog back. And that's pretty much it. As long it's, I think with intervals, people get so worked up about what the intervals are. And actually, it's more about the effort level. It's more about the commitment in which you can put it. You can do 50-minute shuttles, it does 50-minute shuttle, 50-meter shuttle, sorry, but it doesn't matter. It's all about the commitment level and how hard you're working. Those interval sessions, those high efforts are there to push you beyond where you think's reasonable to get up into that zone 5 where you really are, caning it. And you want to be up there and you want to get the benefit of working up there for a short period of time, because you ain't going to be able to hold that for long if you're doing it properly. So don't overcomplicate intervals is my point. And don't do them as much as you think you need to do them. You want to blend it with the rest of your training. I see a lot of people, I'm doing intervals this week, There's other runs that give you just as much benefit of doing an interval session as just caning intervals, once a week. And it's all about the blend of your runs, making sure you are getting good medium efforts in there, good lactate threshold runs, complementing an interval session or hill sprints with your long runs. What's that?
Don't forget the heels.
Oh, him and his bleeding heels drives me up the wall.
Just as we're sort of like reaching the end, I just wanted to read out this from Mark Langhorn. Hi guys, looking forward to my first marathon on Sunday in Brighton. Bring it on, Mark. I'm sure you're not the first. You're not the only 40 who's going down to Brighton to do their first marathon. Just remember, everybody, I did my first one in October and it was brilliant. It's a great experience. You'll have a wonderful time and you've done the hard work. This is your lap of honor. Yeah. So don't beat yourself up too much about times and stuff. Just get out there and enjoy it.
Arahi 6 or React Infinity Run Flying at 3 for easy and long runs. Well, one's a stability shoe. One's a sort of a shoe that's trying to pretend to be a stability shoe. I'd go Arahi 6, but it's whether you need a stability shoe or not, really. Because if you don't need a stability shoe, then go for the Clifton 8s, which Darren at Hartford's a massive fan of. He loves it.
Yes, very much so.
The Infinity Run Flying at 3 is good, but it's a bit warm, people. It's very, very warm. So I would...
bit smelly.
Yeah, I'll just be a bit careful as we get into the summer months in that one. There was a comment from David, but I can't see where it is. Tope. Oh, here we go. Look at this legend. Look, this is my guy here. Look, total plug-in. Look, plugins work, boys. It's these subliminal messages that we're putting out. I've decided, if anyone listening on the pod, you take note of this while you're running along. David's decided he's sacking off Lonely Goat and he's going 40 runs. His yearly membership is up the 40s, hashtag value for money, hashtag converted. Let us know. Send an email in at something.com and let us know if you're leaving
at gmail.com. Have you been converted? Have you gone from Brooks to Hockers or have you gone from the goats to us?
Yeah. Don't get me started about them. Don't get me started.
Perhaps another time. Well, gentlemen, we just ticked onto an hour. We managed to do that without Al.
Yeah, well, a big shout out, Al. Massive love and good luck to Al, Posty, everybody who's running Brighton this weekend. Big shout out to Paul, who's going for his first 10K. And a big shout out to anybody who's getting out there, getting off their butt this weekend and doing something awesome. It's a big weekend of sport. I'm mostly going to, don't tell me this, but I'm mostly going to be sat on the sofa. We've got golf, Spurs and Grand Prix on this weekend, so I'm in big trouble. So I'm going to avoid as much eye contact as possible.
Grand Prix at the middle of the night, mate. You know, she won't be worried about that.
No, I'm going to record everything, but don't tell her. Don't
tell Nicola.
Don't tell her. Don't tell her. A big shout out Sketches as well. Check out Razor XS 2. Loads of videos out there from other good YouTube channels. Check them out. Mad love to Sketches. But yeah, that's an hour, Wilco. Blimey.
Yeah. So thanks ever so much for joining us again, folks. We are back next week with an email special that we're just going to sort out in a minute after we've had a cup of tea. So thanks ever so much joining us. On every week, we're available at 7 o'clock on Facebook and YouTube. But if you're not around at 7 o'clock, if you've got better things to do, then you can always pick up from where you left off by downloading us as a podcast on the usual facilities at Amazon, Apple. Leave us a review on Apple if you could, and push us up those charts because we really like seeing the charts. Love it. And Spotify as well.
Yeah, love it. Any of them.
We love you. Come and see us. Come and talk to us. Send your emails to longrunshow@gmail.com. Drop us a line on the 40 Runs Facebook community, either to me or Chris or Toby, anybody. And we shall pick out some stuff and talk about it ad nauseum. So
that's a posh word.
It is. It's Latin, mate.
I'm going to look it up now.
Anyway, so thank you very much for joining us. We shall see you next week. Best of luck to everybody at Kew, Brighton, wherever you're running this week. Take care.
See you
Have
later.
a good time. And we'll see you next week. So, titles.